how can understanding your individual team's profile and your overall team profile in terms of personality, work style preferences, work style behaviours help with chaos, confusion, perhaps even carnage, who knows? So what it does, it helps you to identify the styles that other people typically use in their approach to work, and also, and even more importantly, what they do under pressure. Because when we're under pressure, sometimes we exaggerate behaviours because they come naturally to us. And those are the very times when we need to stop, reflect, and try a different approach. Because sometimes, for example, in DISC profiling, which is DISC, if you've got a very driven leader, under pressure, that leader may well speed up, be very task focused, and it leaves other styles behind, other styles that need more recognition, more engagement, more conversation, rather than just getting through things quickly. Or you might need to adjust your style as a leader to slow down a bit, to give time to that person that's much more analytical and allow them the space to come with the analytics that tell you, you might think this is a really good idea, but we need to test it first. We need some data behind it. And under pressure, we exaggerate our styles, and that can lead to all sorts of confusion. I've worked with so many teams that were in the midst of chaos, and people were overstepping the mark. They were treading on each other's toes. So I did a bit of work around objectives, role profiling with the leader to make sure that people were really clear about the team's goals and the individual's goals. But what was interesting is that when we did the DISC profiling, they all had pretty much the same profile. You might think that's great, we understand each other. And to a certain extent, that's true. But nobody was picking up the detailed work that can be very important in business. Yes, ideas are great, but sometimes we need to back up those ideas and make sure they have longevity. They were all very similar in style, so they were almost getting in each other's way because so many of the team were similar. And one of the traits of the team was that with a style that was slightly more reserved, they didn't speak up when they were feeling under pressure or they weren't happy. So what you had was a group of 10 people that were actually feeling the same pressures, the same issues. But because they're loyal, because they're team players, because they like harmony in their style, they didn't want to speak up, and the leader couldn't really figure it out because he had a very different style, a blend of styles. So we sat down and looked at what are the strengths of those styles and what are the areas to work on. And after that, it became very clear that they needed mechanisms for communication, an open space for feedback. And I'm pleased to say I work with that medical team, and now they are all working very seamlessly together and working on very clear objectives and a way in which they can create a culture of feedback and openness. So that's how DISC profiling can help turn a team from chaos into performance. If you'd like to know more about DISC profiling for your team, for your leaders, then please do get in touch.